Right, so new general manager for the Raiders, Dave Ziegler, has obviously been quite busy, making transactions, trades, and honestly, I think he's done a great job so far. I've talked about Chandler Jones in a separate video. I've talked about Davante Adams because those were kind of the two big ones, but he's made other big ones as well. Not as big, but I think the Raiders are definitely trying to stack up on offense and defense, not only to replace starters, but also get good backups in the case of injuries and just be prepared overall. So, I'll go over most of them. I'll probably talk about some in more depth than others because some are more impactful. So, Marcus Mariota, who was a free agent and with the Raiders for 2 years, he's going to the Atlanta Falcons. He was our backup quarterback. I personally really like the guy. I actually have a Marcus Mariota Raiders jersey. And, I'm happy for the guy. I think he needs a starting job somewhere. I think he deserves it. And I think he has an opportunity to prove himself. With that being said, though, the Raiders needed a backup. So they got Garrett Gilbert, who was with Washington. And they also recently picked up Nick Mullins, who was recently with the Cleveland Browns. So those will be the two. We don't know who will be second string and third string, but those will be the backups to Derek Carr. So that's, the quarterback front of things. Breaking news today was defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins will be re-signing with the Raiders for 1 year. And at least, I think that's good. I like him. He's a veteran. He's been with us for multiple seasons, and he also reunites with Patrick Graham, who is our defensive coordinator, and that was actually his former defensive line coach when he was on the Giants. So I think that works well. I think the Raiders probably knew that, like I said. Another transaction that happened, it was a trade, and this one was, I think, probably one of the bigger ones. The Raiders traded for cornerback Rock Ya-Sin. Ya-Sin was a pretty decent quarterback with the Indianapolis Colts, and the Raiders had to trade Yannick Ngakoue. And, it was a little bittersweet for me finding this one out because I think Ngakoue was a really great defensive player last season for us with, teamed up with Max Crosby. I think he had a chance to be a Pro Bowler. He was pretty good. With that being said, though, I think, the Raiders looked at his value and thought it's probably going up. And is he going to have another good season? He might not. I think, honestly, it's a good trade. It was a 1-for-1 trade. So, I'm not upset with it, but I do think I'm going to miss Ngakoue. He was very aggressive. He was a good player. He'll probably do good with the Colts. But I think also we're upgrading with Chandler Jones. I think Chandler Jones is better than Ngakoue. So I think it sort of works out for the better. But Ya-Sin, he's spent the past 3 seasons with the Colts. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Not many interceptions, but he does get a lot of tackles. And I think he's overall pretty good. I've heard a lot of good things. So yeah, moving on, the Raiders also signed the former Chiefs receiver Demarcus Robinson to a 1-year deal. I've heard mixed things about Demarcus Robinson. I think this signing is more to kind of get depth within our receiving core. Obviously, we've got Davante Adams, we have Hunter Renfrow, but we still need some depth to, be covered. And I think this signing is pretty good for the value. It's a 1-year deal. So I think, Ziegler was pretty smart with that. So, I think not too big of a signing. But I think overall, not so much the quality of the players, but although I think most of them have been pretty high, but I think the quantity of players that Dave Ziegler, our general manager, is getting is really helping. Because I think depth is something that's very important in football, especially with the Raiders, a team that suffered, many injuries last season. And I think also he's getting good value out of guys, and so I'm pretty happy with this. There's more to come possibly. I've heard rumors of Stephon Gilmore coming to the Raiders and Tyrann Mathieu. So that, could happen. In addition to all these guys I mentioned, Alex Bars came in. He is an offensive lineman. Amir Abdullah came in, running back, of course, for depth, of course, as well as Brandon Bolden came in at running back. So just some more depth, obviously, behind Josh Jacobs. We got a new fullback, Jacob Johnson. Of course, Alec Ingold suffered an injury last year. Kyle Pico got in at defensive tackle from the Titans, so that'll be good. Jacob Hollister, tight end, signed with the Raiders. Mac Hollins, the wide receiver from the Dolphins, came to the Raiders. And Anthony Averett came in as well. I think that's a pretty good signing for the value at cornerback. So that's good as well. I think the Raiders are just overall making, good use of the players on the market overall. As well as Vernon Butler, defensive tackle, Kyler Fackrell. And I'm not talking about all these guys in great detail because some of them aren't as notable as others, but that's kind of the point. Duron Harmon came in, and, I think overall not bad from the Raiders. They got Darius Phillips, Micah Kaiser, linebacker, and Bilal Nichols. So, a lot of guys just for depth, and I think they'll do good. I think with who we got, like who we have already, who we got, I think the Raiders are going to be covered for depth in their lineup, first of all, and replacing positions that were weak spots, right? Like, I think, a spot like defensive line, the Raiders have, sure, they have Max Crosby and they have others, but I don't think Yannick Ngakoue is the best option possibly, and that's why we brought in Chandler Jones. So I think the Raiders, they see these spots that maybe are good already but could be better. Maybe the wide receiver core was a good example of that because Davante Adams just brought in. It's bringing these areas to be much stronger. And so I think that's good. So overall, those are some Raiders transactions that happened in the past couple of weeks. And more ones that are under the radar, but still pretty important. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys later. And yeah, go Raiders.